Greetings, everybody, and welcome once more to the Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to dive back into the world of darkness? If you are ready to join me, please take my hand. I'm your host and guide here at Dante's Narrative Dracovin, and I can open up a portal to the world of darkness, the world, not like our other, but filled with supernatural creatures, the world of today, of changelings. We're going to be learning about the River Hags, a offshoot of Redcaps. But if you are ready to join me, please remember to tip your guide, like and subscribe, ring the bell, and leave me a comment over on the YouTube side of things. We are traveling the world of darkness. Take my hand. The portal awaits. The gauntlet awaits. The dream awaits. We've arrived! River Hags. Yes, we are learning about them. They can be very dangerous. They match why stories of rivers are dangerous. But, you stay close and listen to my advice. Perhaps you will survive this one. There are some other sources that could help you, especially if, perhaps in a game, there's an opportunity to play one. Well, in C20, in the core books, though, they tend to have stuff. C20 especially does have an update on it. And, of course, because they are a subgroup, maybe, of Redcaps, there are information on them in the Redcaps Kith book. Where to start? Well, again, we've mentioned a couple of times now, sub-Kith of Redcaps. But the thing is, where that designation, where that breaking apart has occurred, is sort of a unknown factor. There are evidences of Redcaps in some River Hags family trees, some not so much. It's the fact that there are branches to certain Kith families that they might be related, and we've talked about some in the past in other videos, shout them out. In this case, River Hags seem to be one of them. Somewhere in the back, someplace, there was a Redcap and maybe someone else, and they got together, and this offshoot happened to be the River Hag. Is it very different from what a Redcap is? Yeah. But again, it's adaptation, in a way, evolution, changes into what is your River Hag as it is. So, yes. Maybe somewhere along the way, your great-grandpappy and great-grandmother fooled around, and you as the River Hag were born as possible. You know, caused the combination together. So, yes. There are those that claim that the origins of these were more goddesses of a particular stream or whatnot, but they got uglier and antisocial when old ways fell out of style, and it became more incarnations of the fears of the river and what is down below the water. But, yeah. River Hags have a place in the banks of treacherous rivers where it runs fast and deep. Places where the rivers swallow small children without a trace. Where the river feeds. Yes. So, where there are dangers, where you don't want to go swimming, that's places where River Hags. So, again, there's definitely things different between them and Redcaps, but some similarities as we'll kind of go into here also. So, what is the the appearance of a River Hag? Well, ugly is a way that they've often been described. They have basically two different appearances. Both seem to reflect a corpse. Basically, one group are those that seem to be bloated or swelled up like a corpse bloating in a river while it's been rotting underwater. And the other are thin, gaunt, twisted, like a mess of willow twigs. So yeah, there are multiple forms of River Hags, and both are not pleasant. The big ones, big sloppy mouths that can swallow a small creature / child with one gulp. And the skinny ones just kind of open wide and chow down just as much. They have a few bites. Because they do have their very nice teeth, which are kind of wirous, caltroppy, kind of monstery, just like that of our good friends, the Redcaps. If you're a larger hag, you're going to kind of pug noses, big ears. Skinnier ones have hook noses, no ears at all. Bigger ones, shorter arms, shorter fingers, kind of let dinner get close before stuffing them out. The skinny ones kind of will reach out their long, gangly arms to grab ankles or things before pulling them in. So, yeah. again, this does date back to the connections with the creatures in the river that will take you. The waterlogged, soppy, horrible creatures. Yep. Anyway, isn't this all wonderful? Yes, River Hag. Very wonderful. In general. Coloring, of course, white like a bloated corpse, muck, the river green, decaying brown leaves, molted, some kind of variation, combination of all the threes. And they also have the nictating membrane that allows them to see underwater, because they are built for the water, too. In older systems, they would actually, just as a note here, system-wise, max appearance of 3. They don't really talk about that in C20 very much, but if you're going by the older editions, certainly speaking, appearance of 1 maximum. Very similar in a lot of ways to things like Nosferatu from Vampire or others that have very horrible appearance and are kind of connected with them. Very much so. So bloated or spindly, doesn't matter. It's unpleasant either way. The river, though. That's the important part about when we talk about a river hag, because they live on a river. They patrol that section of river. They eat on that section of river. Because they are a changeling and have a changeling way, sometimes they do put on nice clothes and go to town. But they are tied to a single river. Not a stretch of river, the entire river. So that's a big thing if you're like tied to the Amazon, you're the entire Amazon, tied to the Mississippi, you're the entire Mississippi. Advantage in that case, but the mortal seemings end up living right on the water. You're a fishing, piling a boat, writing reports on environmental, whatever. Whatever it is, if they need to get in the water, they can do a little fuss. And they can also hide any evidence of anything that they need to, especially buttons. When they're being very river hag, they don't tend to leave the water. And there are connections that, which we'll talk about here, they can't leave the water for too long, and they stick close to the river homes. And it's not water related, it's their river related. You know, it is, they are tied to a specific river. And now, people that river hags deal with are 3 types when it comes to their river home. Mean, stupid, and trespassers. Mean, that's kind of a thing. They're doing very awful things, dumping sludge, killing fish for the heck of it. You know, they're the kind of people that throw dynamite in the water. Yeah, just to fish. Yeah, these are the people that you don't want to stay near the banks of the river at night because, you know, you're fair game. You've been doing stuff to mess up their home. Trespassers are a little thing that ends up more on the changeling side of things because people aren't really welcome necessarily. If River Hag is protecting their territory. An unannounced visitor, well, you better do something to basically appease the River Hag. Throw it at something like a dead animal. Something that's, you know, if you see it thrash around, disappear beneath the water, hey, you're probably good to go and visit for a little while. But, you know, if it doesn't, I wouldn't stay around. And then, of course, people are stupid, which can be anybody, you know. There's certainly people on the Kith side that might go and try to bother a hag just for the fun of it. And that's just kind of dumb. River hags tend to go by the, if you don't bother us, we won't bother you. And then, of course, it's also getting on their turf. Hey, we talked about the territorial trespassing. And even if you manage to beat her, unless you finish them off with some cold iron, they'll be back and probably be pissed off at you. So, yeah. A lot of tragic accidents happen on rivers for people that mess with a river hag. Tragic accidents are a normality. And it might be that you've just gone down one boat. Bodies are never found sometimes in rivers. Washed away. So, rivers are a dangerous place. Riverbanks are slippery. And it's all full of water. You know? Sometimes it just isn't right to mess around in that way. Keep that in mind. let's talk about some of their abilities, frailties, and some other information about them that we can go over a little bit here. So, big thing to talk about is they do have the dark appetite of a red cap. That's one of their birthrights. So, like a red cap, they can eat anything. Truth or cards, anything. It's the exact same way. Go check out my red cap video, which has been up if you want to see that. The other thing is that they have the ability to submerge underwater and breathe indefinitely. Not in C20, but in older editions, they also have the ability to intimidate things, even Chimera, which I think kind of connects up somewhere in between some stuff with River Hags, so red caps. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, they have a bad attitude as a frailty. Okay, that's also one that kind of disappears in C20, or at least they don't talk about it as much if it's there. The big thing is they are tied to a river. That's the most important thing. A river hag can leave their river, can use cantrips to hide her appearance and walk among other mortal fae, but has to come back within a week. Or they river up and start taking aggravated damage. So you can only be gone from your river for a week. So if you're going to play River Hag, be at the place where there's a river that you'd probably be adventuring out of. So either, you're always going to be a week away from that river. That's your home. If someone's doing I can remember, doing an adventure in New York City. Your River Hag tied to the Hudson River. There you go. You can go do adventures in New York City. Always head back to the Hudson. I mean, it's kind of something like that. It's not impossible. You wouldn't have a week before you return to do stuff with River Hag, but River Hags you wouldn't do a globe-trotting adventure for. You do a local somewhere adventure, certainly for. But again, we're talking about, they do remove some things from them, like Dark Appetite into the Depths. They keep in C20, but they kind of simplify River Hags a little bit here. So, they're grand swimmers that, it's one of those things, is if you're getting into a fight with them, they're very good at fighting in the water. Don't do that. And, of course, they have the red cap abilities of just eating anything. Worry about that. So now you're fighting something in an area it has an advantage in. And, it can maybe just swallow you goddamn whole. Enjoy that. But, yeah. So definitely speaking, there isn't as much stuff and information in the in the C20 as there was in the Kithkin Red Cap book. As there was more information beyond their unique ones, and they were more. It's not that they weren't tied to red caps; they were almost more deeply tied to red caps in the older editions. So yes, but yes, that's River Hags. A simple one to go over and get some information, but they are unique enough and different enough from red caps to warrant their own video, certainly for sure. It's interesting that they are basically this interesting offshoot that has some uniqueness to them and certainly differentiates themselves. They don't have a lot of the attitude kind of ways of going on that maybe red caps have, but it's sort of like you get the sense that it's this is my area, keep to myself, this is my thing, don't mess with it, be respectful, and you're fine. And I think that's kind of where the ideas, and there still is that, hunger of a red cap, but not the same kind of attitude as a red cap. Granted, they aren't very pleasant to look at in their fame name, probably not even for changelings themselves. They look like either a bloated corpse or like this kind of shriveled out twig kind of creature that's almost skeletal. Neither tend to be very appealing. But nonetheless, River Hags are an interesting group to talk about because there are others that are tied to lands and other changelings, and they fill out some of those interesting little niches and dreams out there. And certainly speaking, it might be fun to play with. Something a little different. We've got this kind of tie to a river. It's not just a small area. A river is a pretty big thing. It can be a pretty large area. It's the entire river, too. Which does make there is some opportunities to do a lot there. And you can be away for a week before you start taking damage. So, there could be some traveling somewhere, certainly a River Hag nowadays could probably take a vacation somewhere. They have to be back by the end of the week, or they can take some aggravated damage and have to worry about healing that up. But you can spend a week out somewhere, take a plane out, go visit somewhere, enjoy it. Go visit a River Hag cousin in some other place in the world, and then come back to your river. Not gonna be gone for long, but I'll leave that there. Interesting ideas. I thank everyone for joining me today. Always is all a pleasure. I hope you check out the rest of my stuff, either if you're joining me over on the YouTube side of things, which is where most of these all the videos go up on, or if you're joining me live when I do like recordings of videos that go up on YouTube, other tabletop related stuff like live plays of games. I've done World of Darkness before, and things like discussing tabletop Saturdays at 6, where we talk about news of the week and interesting, deeper discussion topics. All my schedules up on my social media. Make sure to check those out. Discord, Blue Sky, /. All those in that order. Check them out. That's order of how much I do stuff. That's life updates, schedule updates, all those things. Anyway, I've shouted out my stuff. I think that's a good point to leave it today. And we'll talk about Changeling in the future and more World of Darkness. But until the next time, I bid all of you out there a deep, and of course wonderful, farewell.